All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahushua being the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now, the main reason why the Christian church can fool a lot of people because they don't understand that this Adam and Eve situation was about a nation. See, Malachi 3 and 6 say, I change not. See, Yahweh does not change. He has a plan, and his plan hasn't changed. It's been that since the beginning. And so when you look at, let's get right to it and make the point, and then I'll elaborate. Let's bring these scriptures out. Genesis 5, it clearly tells you that this was a nation. It said this is the book of the generations of Adam. That's a nation. Okay, let's go Genesis 36. Let's match it up with some other nations now. Look at Genesis 36, verse 1. It said, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Genesis 36 and 9. These are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. See, that's how you present a nation. This is what the Adam and Eve situation was about. It was about a nation, a separate nation, a holy nation. See, a nation that was dedicated to God. Now, out of that nation, you had Noah was the one saved out of that nation. When you go into Genesis 10, it tells you, now, first verse, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. And then it starts telling you the sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth. Unto them were sons born after the flood. So out of those three sons, the Lord was going to choose a nation to further that, to bring forth that that holy seed. For instance, Abraham was given a promise, and it was going to be passed down to his seed. So the same thing with Adam. Adam was that chosen nation, the ruling nation. See, that's why I said he breathed the life into Adam. He gave Adam the life. He gave Adam the his spirit to rule. He gave Adam dominion. And so Adam was the nation that was blessed, and he was going to pass his he was going to pass his inheritance down to his children. And so that inheritance eventually went to Noah, because Noah was a survivor and his sons. So out of those sons, they had to pass the inheritance down, because Noah had three sons, just like with Isaac. Isaac had two sons. Isaac had to pass. Let's go back to Abraham. Abraham had two sons. Abraham had Ishmael and Isaac, but he didn't pass it down to Ishmael. He passed it to Isaac. Isaac had two sons. He had to pass it down to Jacob. He didn't pass it to Esau. He passed it down to Jacob. Even though Esau did get a blessing, he passed the inheritance of the holy nation to Jacob. Jacob, the 12 tribes, wound up being that holy nation. And he was going to end it with Jacob. That's why he said Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What's that? Matthew chapter 8. So this holy nation is what the Bible is about. The Lord was wanting to reign in this Garden of Eden, or in the nation of Israel, in the birthplace of humanity. See, where the nation of Israel is, where those four rivers was. This is where he was wanting to rule, and he was going to use a nation to do so. So when you understand that, then they can't fool you with this God's trying to save humanity, and humanity needs to get back in the good graces of God. See, the Bible was not about humanity. It was about a chosen nation. Now let's get Ezekiel 31, because Ezekiel was given uh, prophecies, and he was connected to the Most High, so he can further explain what was going on in the Garden of Eden. You see, and Moses and Esdras also explained it, but Ezekiel gave a more in-depth understanding of what was going on in the garden, and it debunked the so-called Christianity interpretation of what was going on, and it let you know it wasn't literal. Let's get it. Ezekiel 31, we're going to start at verse 2. Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and to his multitude, who art thou like in your greatness? Now, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, is not always talking about the actual Pharaoh and the king of Egypt. See, the Bible has speaking similitudes. That's Hosea chapter 12 and 10. The prophets spoke with similitudes. They didn't always speak direct every time. They used similitudes. So this is a similitude that Ezekiel is going to be using. And he's using these names like Pharaoh in Egypt, king of Egypt, as a similitude. Verse 3, he say, behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches, and with a shadowing stroud, and a high statue, and his top was among the thick boughs. Now this Assyrian wasn't an Assyrian, see, and he wasn't a tree. Look at what it said. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches. See, no person is a tree. How can a Assyrian be a tree? Can't be a tree. And then it says, verse 4, the waters made him great, the deep set him up on high with her rivers running around about his plants, and sent out of her rivers unto all the trees of the field. Now there go those rivers close by the Garden of Eden. Verse 5, it says, therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. See, it's letting you know right there that he was exalted above all the trees of the field. What is that? Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I will make you, let's get that real quick. We got a little time here, but I don't want to make this a long one. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Okay. Better yet, let's go on and get it out of here. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. See, that's why Ezekiel 31, let's go ahead and show that now that I done transition 31:5. It said, therefore, what that his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. See, this nation of Adam, just like the nation of Israel, was above all the trees of the field. This was the promise of this holy chosen nation. Then you go to what it says, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters which he shot forth. Verse 6, all the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under the shadow dwelt all great nations. All the nations was uh, doing what they're gonna do in the kingdom of Israel, uh, like Isaiah chapter 2:2 say. They was gonna flow into the look at what Isaiah said. He almost said what Ezekiel said. He said, it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted. That's what it said, above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. That's what it's saying about this flowing. They flowed into uh the pretty much the nation, the holy nation. And it said, meeting people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, see, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. That holy nation, that ruling nation. See, this was the purpose that was from the beginning. Okay, let's go back to Ezekiel 31. Okay, and it says, talk about his greatness, length of branches, roots was in great waters. It said, and he no other trees was like him in beauty. He was more beautiful than these other trees. Look what it said in verse 9. He said, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Edom, all these great nations that were in the garden of God, envied him. See, that's why they went to Eve and tried to persuade Eve, because they was jealous in the law that he told this nation that they couldn't break their laws. See, just like the nation of Israel, if the nation, let's get there, if the nation of Israel broke their laws, they would get punished. Now let's go to, let's see, Judith 5:10, I think. Somewhere around it. 5:17 or 20. Look at what it says. It says, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there is no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord pass now pass by, lest their God defend them, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So this is why they went up to try to persuade the women of that chosen nation of Adam. See, the generations of Adam, that chosen generation of Adam, they went to persuade her or the women, just like they doing to the so-called black women in America with the feminism movement and the abortion movement. See, they going up to persuade the women. Let's go back to Genesis 5 and see how this nation of Adam. Look at what it says. This is the book of the generations of Adam. Verse 2, it says, the male and female, he created them and blessed them and called their name. So this was male and female in this nation. Their name was Adam. See, this is the lies that Christianity present when they try to throw out this naked people biting a freaking fruit. Had nothing to do with naked people biting the fruit. Nothing to do with two people being on earth all by themselves with a bunch of animals. See, that's not the story. The story is about the nation of Adam and how the other nations was envious of them, and they persuaded the women to delve into wickedness, to follow what they were saying and go into wickedness. And so the trees that was in the garden of knowledge and good and bad was these other nations. They was trying to persuade the Israelites to go off and sin against their God so they wouldn't be the chosen nation anymore. You see? And once they did that, the whole world became under wickedness because that holy nation fell and he threw them into darkness pretty much because they didn't keep his laws that he had given them. And this is the story, man. These people cannot go into Ezekiel 31 and present no other story but what it was. And so this is what the Adam and Eve situation. Now let's get second Esdras. Esdras was one of the prophets one of the prophets that stood up and taught the people during the Nehemiah and the return to Jerusalem under the king Cyrus, or the Persian king, sent them back to the Holy Land. They tried to burn the records, the Greeks, and maybe even some Edomites just around with their little private army, trying to burn the records of the Israelites, like Nahum trying to put them all to death. But look at what 14:5 says, and told him many wonders. The Most High was telling Moses many wonders, and showed him the secrets of the time and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words thou declare, and these shall thou hide. So he hid certain things by talking in a similitude, using similitudes. In Genesis 1, that's how he hid them. Because the heathen, the sons of men who wasn't a part of this holy nation of Adam, they was going to how I would say they was gonna lie pretty much and not understand. Like Daniel 12:10, the wicked shall not understand. So pretty much this is what the Adam and Eve situation was about. It was about these other nations led by the serpent nation, which has been developed as the nation of Edom now. That's why that Jacob and Esau birth is so powerful, because that's what Genesis was talking about. The seed. It's going to be two seeds that's going to be going at each other's neck. Because the Most High he deal with twos. Good, bad, hot, cold. See, that's how he operates. Let me go and see if I can get that. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Well, let's just try 2. Mm, Slovakia. I want to find this one verse. There we go. Because this explains a lot to why he had it this way. He says, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. So this is why he did the serpent and the seed situation. The serpent was going to be that serpent nation, that adversarial nation that was going to come against his seed, that he was going to produce that chosen line, that chosen rulership nation that was going to be the hierarchy, like the lion is the hierarchy of the jungle animals or the animals. He created a hierarchy system. See, now you have these Edomites, the children of Esau, they promoting that it's a utopia idea. Everybody's the same idea. What Nimrod had too. Nimrod was promoting that. All people come together. And in Habakkuk 2 and 5, it talks about this is the mentality of the Edomites. They want to bring all people together. Antiochus, during the Maccabees period, want to bring all people together. See, this is not the purpose of the Most High. He dealt with hierarchy. See, a nation that's above all the other nations to guide and give them order. Even in the midst of the nation of Israel, he created a hierarchy with the 12 tribes. The Levites was the high priest. They dealt with the temple. See, Judah was the kingship, who had the scepter. King David, King Solomon. See, you had a hierarchy. You had levels and order. And so this is how the Most High operates. Everything done decently and in order. But these Edomites and these other envious and jealous nations, they wanted to destroy that order, pretty much. But anyhow, this Adam and Eve situation is all about the nation of Adam, that chosen nation of Adam, which is a similitude to the nation of Israel. So I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Yikakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe. Plus the dispersed Israelites throughout the captivity that we had. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.